So, The Godfather turned 50 this year, and in anticipation of the congratulatory circle jerk that the remaining cast and crew participated in, I thought I would watch it for the 1700th time. The Godfather is one of those films for me that no matter how many times I watch it, I find something new to love. A background arc I missed before, a character I've never honed in on, some gabagool that went over me head. I will always find something to make me see it with fresh eyes. On this occasion, with the shadow of the 50-year anniversary looming, it got me thinking about legacy. The legacy of the Corleone family within the film, and the legacy of the cast and crew on the set. After a few weeks of watching a collective online suppression of the memory of the last 15 years of De Niro, Pacino, Coppola and Brando's careers, there is one cast member whose filmography will no doubt go down as the most stellar of all time. This man starred in 5 films over 7 years, all of which were nominated for the Best Picture Oscar, 2 of them winning. He was held in the highest regard and served as an inspiration and a teacher to some of the most well-renowned actors in the history of cinema, as well as being the first love and a muse for inarguably the greatest actress of all time. I am of course talking about John Cazale, one of the greatest actors you don't know about. John Cazale to this day has without question the strongest filmography of any film actor, as well as a decorated and critically lauded stage career. But for the most part, he's probably best known today as Fredo Corleone, the weak-willed brother to Al Pacino's Michael. Despite this being the character that would secure his place in film eternity, his role in The Godfather was but the tip of the iceberg of this extremely dedicated, exceptionally intellectual man's career. John was born in Revere, Massachusetts on the 12th of August 1935, growing up in Winchester before studying drama at Oberlin College in Ohio. He then transferred to Boston University, where he studied under respected instructor Peter Cass, who taught the likes of Olympia Dukakis, Faye Dunaway, Maureen Stapleton and even Val Kilmer. He was one of those guys that just did whatever he could to get by while pursuing his dream, including working as a cab driver, a photographer, even as a messenger for Standard Oil, where he would meet a young actor named Al Pacino. The two went on to become good friends, being cast in theatre shows together before going on to star in The Godfather, John's film debut. Obviously the film would go on to break box office records, and it made Cazale, as well as the rest of the cast, valuable Hollywood commodities. Coppola, impressed with Cazale's abilities in the small role he'd been dealt in The Godfather, wrote him a part in his next film, The Conversation, starring Gene Hackman. Despite probably being his lesser known film, it is nevertheless a bona fide masterpiece, so much so that in 1995 it was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. In fact, all of his films did. Just take that in for a second. Every single film that this man starred in would later be selected for preservation in the US National Film Registry of the Library of Congress. No Jack and Jills.
No Cappuccino! You want creamy goodness? I'm your friend. Say hello to my chocolate blend.
No Island of Dr. Moreau's, no Dirty Grandpas, just 5 stars all the way. Fucking legend. In 1974, he reprised his role as Fredo Corleone, who now had a much media part to play in part 2. As many of the cast have testified, his stunningly understated performance actually made them up their game on set, making sure everyone was doing their very best work. Once again, he would be cast alongside his friend Al Pacino in 1975's Dog Day Afternoon, directed by Sidney Lumet. Yet again, his understated fragility is just captivating, so much so that you don't even realise that your gaze is fixated on him for every second he's on screen. He looks so weird and intense with the hair and the eyes, and it's just a stunning performance. For this role, he was nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor, the only award nomination he would receive for his work on screen. After this successful performance, Cazale then returned to the stage and would begin a relationship with a young Meryl Streep, the two falling madly in love. It was around this time that he was diagnosed with lung cancer. Meryl Streep would be due to star in an upcoming film with Robert De Niro, John Savage and Christopher Walken called The Deer Hunter. And despite wanting John to come on board for the role, his cancer diagnosis had made him unfortunately uninsurable, so he would be unable to participate in the production. But De Niro was so committed to having him perform in the film that he sacrificed his own money to cover the costs of having him on set.
He was sicker than we thought, but I wanted him to be in it.
So Bob put his money down and got him in the film. And he was great in the movie. I mean, he was just beautiful in it.
Despite being optimistic about experimental treatments, John Cazale passed away on March 13th, 1978 at the age of 42, with Meryl Streep by his side, showing an undying devotion to a man on his final weeks, days and moments on this earth.
I saw that girl there with him like that. I thought, there's nothing like that. I mean, that's it for me. As great as she is in all her work, that's what I think of when I think of her, that moment. That's what I think of.
Ah shit, well that was a bummer. The point of this video is that this man's legacy is unlike any other actor's, and I feel like just with all the hubbub surrounding the legacy of The Godfather turning 50 and its cast and creators, we should all at least be a little more aware of one of the brightest lights to shine in the film. John's friend and longtime collaborator Israel Horovitz wrote a eulogy in the Village Post that I think sums it up best. John Cazale happens once in a lifetime. He was an invention, a small perfection. It is no wonder his friends feel such anger upon waking from their sleep to discover that Cazale sleeps on with kings and counsellors, with Booth and Keane, with Jimmy Dean and Bernhardt, Goatree and Deuce, with Stanislavski, with Groucho, Benny and Allen. He will make fast friends in this new place. He is easy to love.